What is up, guys? I hope you're doing well. So as you may or may not be aware, the full trailer for the new Prey movie leaked online a couple of days ago, and I did watch it and actually recorded it myself, as I thought it'd probably be getting taken down everywhere, and I was considering uploading it here in its entirety, but as I said, it looks like it'd probably just get removed from YouTube if I did, and I'm not sure if that sort of thing would get you a copyright strike or not, so I decided not to risk it by uploading the whole thing. But what I thought we could do is take a look at the new Predator's design from the new film, as the trailer actually did show off a few glimpses of it, and it looks pretty different from anything we've seen before, which is kind of interesting. So what I've got here are a few screenshots I've taken from the trailer. Firstly, we have a scene with the bear that was shown to be in the movie from some on-set photos. It's chasing her and trying to get to her when she's taking cover in a beaver dam, but then the bear just falls dead and it's dragged out, and then we see it's the predator that's killed it and lifting it over his head. You don't see much yet, as the predator looks to be cloaked, so we just see his outline, but what I do like here is that it demonstrates to us, the audience, just how strong this thing really is. But I did think, did they really have to spoil that whole sequence in just the trailer? I mean, I can't stand it when they do that in trailers. It reminds me of the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom trailer, and I felt like I'd already seen half the film. So moving on, we see a silhouette of it in the fog, and something I do like that I feel has been maybe kind of forgotten to a degree with the later films. We actually see it in the trees jumping from one tree to another, which is actually reminiscent of the first film. It was always in the trees and using the environment to its advantage. A guy is seen running away and gets impaled by a throwing spear, which I guess you could qualify as a new weapon, as we've not seen a spear that's thrown like a javelin before. Sometimes they'll throw a combi stick like that, but this is more of a traditional spear, which looks cool. Something I think looks kind of funny is that almost every shot of the main character, her eyes are popping out of her head. It reminds me of those people you'd see in the Guinness Book of Records back when you were a kid. So then there's this part where a guy tries to hit it with an axe, what they call the European settlers pilgrims or something. A pilgrim tries to hit him with an axe, but then the predator grabs it and throws it into the air, then catches it and hits him with it. You can kind of see the back of its head and its gauntlet and wrist blades. It's a bit hard to see as the leaked trailer isn't the best quality. We do see the front of his biomask here too for a split second, but I'll touch on that in a sec, as we do get a better look at it in a moment. And here we see him more out in the open and cloaked again as he throws someone. It kind of looks like he may have taken a hit and is starting to decloak possibly. And now here's where we get the best look at him. He looks to have some sort of animal skull either covering his biomask, kind of like the Berserker had, or that actually is the biomask itself, but it's been made from the skull. I'm not sure if maybe that's the bear's skull from earlier, or if it just always has that. But an idea I think could be interesting that maybe they're going for is that if the skull is just covering the mask, then that would add an extra layer to the Predator's reveal over the film. Such as normally we see it and it has a mask on, then later the Predator removes the mask and then we see the face. But if he has the skull over it, then it could be like a second mask. So first he has the skull, then that gets knocked off and we get to see what his biomask looks like. And then after that, then we finally see his face. So it kind of adds another layer of mystery over it, if that makes sense. And his armour looks to have a sort of blending of grey and copper colour to it, but again it's quite dark and not the best quality image, so it's a bit difficult to make out much detail of his chest armour or anything like that. And then we see some of his hunting tools where it looks like he has a spear from earlier holstered on his back, and on his left arm he has a shield which kind of fans out when it opens, which is something we've not seen a Predator have before, which is pretty interesting. And then the last shot is in the dark and he's jumping towards the main character. You can see his wrist blades have more of a hook shape to them than usual, and they are spaced quite far apart. And then he looks to be unmasked here, as we can just make out his mandibles and teeth just before it cuts to the logo. So what do you think of the design? It is definitely different from what we've seen in previous films. They do seem to be giving it a bit more of a primitive look, but hopefully it still retains some of the technological look as well, as something I've seen a lot of people saying online is that since it's set hundreds of years in the past, then the Predator should look more primitive, right? Well, not really, because if you think about it, yeah, it is a long time ago for us humans when it comes to technology, but the Predator is still advanced enough to have a spaceship and travel to Earth, so it actually should still have technology and stuff. Maybe with a little bit of a different aesthetic, but I don't think the Predator should look like it's from the Stone Age. It does still have the plasmacaster though, so this should be the case. As I've said before, I'm really just more excited for the new Predator itself rather than the movie. As for the trailer itself, I'm still a bit in the middle, on the fence, probably leaning a bit into thinking it'll be rubbish. But at least it looks like it might be better than The Predator and AVPR, as at least it looks like it's going back to basics, which is what I've personally been wanting for a while. You know, no stupid ridiculous stuff like in The Predator. I think they must have been snorting something when they made that. Another point I've seen people make is that they think the Comanches should be speaking their own language instead of English, but in the trailer the Comanches are speaking English, but they're not actually speaking English in universe. That's just so us, the audience, can understand them without having to have the whole thing subtitled. Kind of like something like Gladiator, they speak English, but we all know in universe they're speaking Roman to each other. So let me know what you think of the new Predator design and like the video if you enjoyed it. And if you're new around here, I have a lot of videos about the lore from the Predator franchise, which I'll have a link to my Predator playlist if that's something that interests you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.